How do I say this next one without getting canceled? Okay, turn it off. That's all we can afford. What's going on, you guys? Steve here. Oh snap, that scared me. I thought my computer crashed. Today I wanted to speak on a couple changes I've observed in nightlife culture. How do I communicate this? I've been seeing a lot of people online talking about local bars and nightclubs closing, nightlife in general just on the decline. I think it's really true and unfortunate, and I wanted to share my perspective of some things I've observed as a DJ in this culture. The first thing I've noticed is that a lot of people who were going out before the pandemic turned into homebodies during the pandemic, and they don't go out as much anymore. People I know who would be out till 3 a.m. on a random Monday or Tuesday night, they'd much rather be home now, watching Netflix, playing some Warzone. I definitely think the pandemic made everybody more comfortable and content just being at home, being chill, doing daytime activities. Even me as a DJ, I feel that way. I definitely like doing more daytime stuff, kind of getting lunch with friends, kind of hanging out. Another thing I've noticed is that people don't really dance anymore. I know that people still dance. They dance at festivals, they dance at clubs, packed bars, I totally get it. But in general, I've noticed that there's a lot more men kind of just lining up against the wall. They're swiping on their phones. People are just filming everything with a caption saying, "It was a movie." It wasn't a movie. There's just a lot more people kind of keeping to themselves. There's a lot more people just sitting on their phones. When I do see people dancing, they're either in like these group circles, like a middle school dance. If I do see a man and woman dancing alone, they typically came in together. They've been dating or they've been married. Very rarely do I see a man on one side of the room go to the other side of the room and approach a young lady, ask her to dance. They meet, they interact. I feel like those types of interactions aren't very common anymore. I guess it's a good segue into the next thing. I've noticed that men don't approach women anymore. Like courting women, sparking up conversations, it's completely dead. Social media and dating apps are the #1 way for people to meet nowadays. It's kind of crazy to think about. As a kid who grew up in the 90s, I was always told about stranger danger and meeting people online is dangerous and you never know. So it's kind of crazy that 20 years later, meeting online is the standard. Talking to people in person is kind of weird and taboo and like, ugh. While I think social media and dating apps are the main reason why people don't really interact in person anymore, I do think a lot of guys are scared of rejection. On social media, I've seen a lot of videos of like guys getting shamed or getting rejected in really brutal ways. And I think a lot of guys don't want that to happen to them. So they kind of just steer clear of interacting with women, unfortunately. How do I say this next one without getting canceled? Another thing I've noticed is that women have become increasingly more fearful or hateful of men. 5 years ago, when I would see memes and tweets that men are trash, I thought they were bad jokes, but I didn't really take it serious. Now I'm starting to notice that mindset play out in real life behaviors. Almost every man I talk to has experienced either like women parting like the Red Sea when you're like trying to walk through the crowd, or the complete opposite where women will like mad dog you or like push you really hard and pull your arm to try and squeeze through the crowd. There definitely seems to be this kind of like ingrained disdain towards men. Personally, I blame social media for it. I think a lot of the gender discourse online is really stupid, but that's kind of where we're at right now. Another thing I've noticed is that a lot of open format hip hop DJs typically play music from before the pandemic. I've seen this criticism from people all over the internet, people in my local community, and it's definitely a thing. I think TikTok is the reason why DJs would much rather play 2003 50 Cent, 2005 Lil Jon, 2016 Lil Uzi, 2012 Drake. A lot of those songs were consciously made for the nightclub, to dance in person. Music nowadays is made for the algorithms. A lot of these artists are making songs because they want a little soundbite to go viral on TikTok. And as a result, they're not making like clubby dance records. I think that era of music is just gone. It's a lost art. It's kind of sad, but I just think that's how it is. Sure, you can still dance to a lot of songs out there, but the vibe is totally different. And these songs aren't even being made for that environment. If you look at the trend of song length over the last 30 or 40 years, it's been on a steady decline. I definitely think these artists are consciously making songs for short form content so you can just have a soundtrack while you're doom scrolling. As a result, the songs aren't really good to be played in the club. So yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys think of some of these things. I don't mean to be super morbid, but these are some observations I've noticed. As always, I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one.